Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Mind, Body, and Heart Tarot Therapy. I'm here to do the reading for the month of August. It's the new moon in Leo happening right now, so I feel it's a very special reading. So it's a general reading for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. If it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, it's just not your reading. Do not try to fit it in. Take the messages that make sense to you. Use your own intuition to know what messages apply and don't, and which one don't. You can look at this reading more of a they're like a map telling you what kind of what's the energies available to you. There's advice involved in there, but it's not meant to tell you what to do. You stay within your own power. There you go. This is your energy. Knight of Swords is your current energy. So this is Gemini. Very interesting. All right, this is what's challenging for you. I think it's the third time in a row that the Judgment came out, or it's at least the second. It came out for Taurus, and I think it came out also for Aries, but I'm not sure. A Judgment in this case, in your case, is coming as your challenge. All right, so what's coming in your advice position? The Emperor. Oops, sorry about that. Alright, so the Emperor is your advice. Ace of Pentacles as the future energy. Bottom of the deck, you have the Eight of Wands as your underlying energy and your theme. And now we're going to pull out like clarifiers for all this before we even start into it. Ooh la la. Now the Queen of Swords with the Knight of Swords is your current energy. Edgy, edgy. Gemini. Okay. The unforgiveness. This is how it feels, right? You know that song from Metallica, The Unforgiveness. It just came to mind right now. Alright, why is the Judgment here as your challenge? Why is Judgment difficult for you right now? What needs to be forgiven? Let go. Where's the Judgment here? Your challenge position. I will. The Ten of Pentacles. How very interesting. Okay, why is the Emperor here as your advice? It's coming along with the Queen of Cups as your advice. Interesting combination. And why is the Ace of Pentacles here as your future energy? And Justice just jumped out. So interesting having both Judgment and Justice in the same reading. And you have Four of Wands to go along with the Eight of Wands as your theme. So this is kind of what you're working with this month. This is the theme of your reading, your underlying energy. This is like, this all is happening so you can resolve this. That's pretty much how I read these cards. So the Eight of Wands of the Four of Wands is so very interesting to see that this is like 8 and this is the 4. They're both about structure. The 4s have to do with like structure, security. By the way, they're both 1, so they have to do with your passion. They have to do with your awareness. I very much relate the Wands suit because it's your spirituality energy, it's your it has to do a lot of self-awareness. So the fours have to do a little bit more with the like the more earthly ground, the first cycle, the lower emotions, the lower mind is like the going from one to a four, and going through each and every suit, one being earth, two being um the cups, the emotional, and three being the mind, the swords. Four is spiritual, four is like at the top, and then you're going back into emotion, into your mind realm, and then in your emotional realm, and back into the physical realm, and so on and so on. But and then you go to that eight, which is like, eight is like the infinity symbol. It's having structure both on the highest realm and the lower realms this time. To your having your higher self and lower self sort of integrated. That makes sense to you. And I think this is kind of what you're working with right now. You have this sort of like four stability and this eight stability. You're starting like really connecting vertically here with your higher self, with the universe, with the earth, with everything that's like, and the eights have to do a lot with messages. So you're starting like grounding and receiving messages from the spirit, from your higher self, from your inner wisdom, whatever it is that you want to call it. That type of deep insight, understanding, knowledge that you just know it. It's not coming through a mental process, it's a download. This is kind of like what you're working towards with. It's really beautiful. Okay, Gemini, but you being Gemini, your current energy right now, it's like this whole Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords, with the Queen of Swords. The Knight of Swords is somebody who's like really, really keen to uncover the truth and to communicate the truth. And he doesn't give a rat's ass about other people's emotions. And, like he can be, I say he because it's a masculine energy, but doesn't necessarily mean that it's about a man. The Knight of Swords can be incredibly harsh, incredibly rough, incredibly unscrupulous, just to uncover the truth. And sometimes truth is really, really important, but it's very important also how we deliver it. Because if we deliver it in such a harsh way, we're only going to get defensiveness. People get defensive, like the Queen of Swords is like a very, very defensive energy. She's all about boundaries, and she cuts you off before you even manage to put a word in. The moment she feels like you're a threat of some sort, she's been through everything. She knows how to put these boundaries, she knows how to cut off, and she does that to protect herself because she's been through like the dark night of the soul many, many times. A lot of shit happened to her and she learned from it. The trouble is that she can become overly defensive, and I feel like, in a way, I don't know, but I see them like they just came in. They were like this, right? But they came in like this now. They're like moving away from each other. I feel in a certain way this can literally be you trying to uncover the truth in your with the people around you or within yourself, really, and being very, very harsh and not very careful with your communication, and ending up triggering everyone or triggering yourself, and meeting a lot of resistance, and then there's nothing coming through, like nothing comes through. Words are wind. If you come like this in a very aggressive way, in a very rough way, Words are wind. You're never going to really truly communicate. Delivery, the way we deliver, is very important, not just the words. Sometimes it happens that what we communicate is perfectly not correct, and we could relate to if it were to be delivered in a more gentle way, in a way that actually takes care of the triggers, the ego a little bit. The ego comes out as a defense mechanism. By the way, we are in Leo season. It's all about like learning how to work with the ego, learning how to understand my triggers, and to understand why my ego shows up the way it shows up every once in a while and whenever it does, and things like this. So this can be a dynamic both within yourself, but it's also like coming that like given that in your challenge position you have judgment with the Ten of Pentacles. It may very well have to do also with having like this super as I said earlier, the unforgiveness, being very, very hard to forgive. The Queen of Swords had been, as I said, through everything. She's been hurt as fuck. The Knight of Swords is all about truth and expansion and learning and communicating it no matter what, you know. It feels almost like attacking and vengeful energy. Very, very... Um, the judgment is about like making a radical change or a radical change happening in your life and being able to let go, being able to assess without judging yourself, without judging others, without like and look at that baggage. Look at that baggage that what comes from your family, from your tradition, from your cultural conditioning and family conditioning here. This over defensiveness and over aggressiveness, they come from somewhere. Nothing wrong with it. It's very important as judgment to look at it without accusing yourself or being defensive about anything or about blaming. It's not about blame. It's not about any of this. Is really about finding where you at, what you're working with, where is that coming from. That's why it's very important that the Ten of Pentacles is here, looking within your like your traditions and your habits that come from family and the baggage that you've been carrying from your whole genetic system, if you want it. Like, it may not be just you that acts like this within your circle and within your family. It may be that this was the role model, very rough communication and a lot of passive aggressiveness, all that thing, cold and distant, and and this is your model for this is what's familiar to you. This is the only way you know how to be, maybe. Well, I don't know, do your own investigation here, but it's called upon you to assess things for what they are. Where am I coming from? Where am I going? Where am I at right now? And do that with no judgment, but with awareness. Judgment is a card of waking up and looking at the journey as a whole. And it's sort of like, okay, I've been dreaming this whole time, and here I am waking up for a little bit, just to, just a little bit to readjust where I'm going next. What is the next cycle that I need to go through, and what is it that I need to learn from it. And I think it has to do a lot with your where you're coming from, and also what you want to leave behind. Because we can continue the traditions blindly without really assessing, does this still make sense? Or was this like something that they used to do in the Middle Ages and it made sense back then because those were the conditions and those were the, I don't know, expectations. Anything that I carry right now from my family, from the past, that still makes sense. The judgment, that sort of assessment. And judgment has to do a lot with forgiveness. These are very, very rough energies, very tough, very cold. I think it's very important for this Queen of Swords, for example, to let her guard down a little bit and let some and really like reset. When we forgive, we're just letting go of the energy that's poisoning us. That's it. We're not condoning any. If somebody hurt us, we're not condoning what they do. We're not condoning bad behavior. We are not enabling any of this. It's not like we're doing the person that hurt us a favor. No, forgiveness is for ourselves, so that we're not constantly hurt all the time by the person or anything or the events that happened, including the way we've hurt ourselves and we've abused ourselves. So this it is difficult for you right now to forgive, for sure. And it's difficult for you to probably forgive what's happened in your like whole history, as your life, your family, what the baggage that you're carrying from your family line may not be an easy one, and it's difficult to forgive all the parties involved in this. Grandparents, grandparents, parents, whatever. Abuse comes in the family, addiction comes in the family. We learn everything in the family from before we are even 5. We're already kind of set up our system based on what we see at home. So there's a lot to forgive there, that's for sure, including yourself, as I said. And the Emperor and the Queen of Cups come as your advice. More structure. Structure. The Emperor is Aries energy. Is and showed up for Aries as well. The Emperor is about ruling, about being in your own authority here. Is about understanding through awareness what your needs are, what the needs of the people are, what the needs of and when I say the people, can I be actual people in your life, but you're not trying to rule other people. You're literally trying to rule your inner world here. And in order to be the driving seat here, it's to understand the needs, to understand how to fulfill your needs in order to not be into this typical dynamic of the passive aggressiveness. And you can do that, of course, by embodying this whole Queen of Cups energy. Get into your emotions and feel. I know it's so hard to allow yourself to feel when you've been relying on your mind to do all the work, to not let you feel. And Queen of Swords, the first sign of anything that might feel a little bit uncomfortable, she just cuts it off. The Knight of Swords is like going out there in the search of turning each and every stone to make an analysis of everything in order to figure out how to not feel, who to blame, how to fix it. You don't need to fix it, you need to feel it. And you need to know what you need. That's how you learn what you really need, by really feeling your feelings, by really kind of like sitting into that space of fully nurturing yourself. The Emperor, yeah, well, he seems a little bit tough and everything, but he's a nurturer, really. He needs to understand the needs of his empire in order and to nurture it. Otherwise, you can't hold an empire together. And he does this from like the highest position. There is no one higher in terms of responsibility and in terms of authority and in terms of the role that the emperor is playing. But he does this by having the Queen of Cups energy within himself. It's like being tempered by the Queen of Cups. Allowing to feel. You need to feel, Gemini. I think this is really, really important message right now. And to feel through like a lot of empathy, having empathy for yourself, like really relate to whatever you learn here, and be as nurturing as you can be. No judgment. And that's the problem, right? Like that's why it's so difficult. That's why the judgment of the Ten of Pentacles is in your challenging position. But as your advice is really like, take your feelings, feel them one by one. Don't attach too much energy, too much ideas and mind to it. Just feel through. Don't feed the emotions, but don't cut them off either. Just taste them, and they will go away eventually. Nothing lasts forever. You're learning what you need to learn from those emotions. They're information. You keep looking for information with your mind, but the information is within you, all the way to the cellular level. Feel through. Definitely not what an air sign would like to do, I know, but you gotta do what you gotta do. This is your way out of this like berserk search for truth. The truth is literally within you. You just need to feel through it. And I know when I say you just need to feel through it, it sounds like so simple. It's not. Let's not hide behind the bush here. It's not easy. But this is why you have the Emperor as well with the Queen of Cups here, because you do have the ability to do it. You are empowered. You are within your authority here. And look where this goes. Come on, like the Ace of Pentacles with justice coming through. Something, whatever it is that you've been like trying to, wasn't able to forgive and let go of, and it's very challenging for you to do. Once you do it, once you really do it from this position of like being within your power, but also being like super caring of your emotions and empathetic and feeling and blah blah, it brings you to this whole place of complete new opportunity and justice. Justice is being done at a karmic level. You're letting go. This is like why it's so important to feel through, because you're letting go of the past. You can cry with it, you can scream with it, you can feel whatever it needs to be felt and let go, and justice is being done at a karmic level. Justice for you, for your past lives, for your childhood, for whatever it is that needs to be, and helps you to balance out the mind, balance out your shields which had been maybe overactive. And this opens up a completely new world for you. The Ace of Pentacles is an opportunity for real change that you feel in your daily life, that you can feel in your 3D reality. It's something that you can grasp, that you can, see the benefits of it in your daily experience. So this is good job, Gemini. This is great. This is great work. Not easy, but it is really, really important for you to You know, this whole challenge position in this spread is not about like what's blocking your road. It's more about what you need to open up towards. What is it challenging for you right now is pretty much what gives you the key to get out of this situation, the situation that you need to evolve from. And your advice obviously helps, especially with this. Okay, Gemini. I hope this makes sense to you. If it resonates, please like, share, and subscribe. I would love to see you again here next time, and I hope this was really, really of help to you. I'll see you here soon. Have a great August, Gemini.